point of view, this Protoss is a friggin' beast, guys. I'm like, this Protoss doesn't need any coaching at all. What the hell, man? All right, so we're going to be trying to help out Granis with his mech build order. Awesome. So Granis says, look, this is my second time playing mech versus Protoss. Some side notes that I know I have to work on. Expand earlier, continue making workers, learn how to micro and macro at the same time, continue making an army when I'm out on the map and looking for a fight. My border might say I'm Diamond, but that's actually my Protoss. My main race is Terran, and I am a Plat. Okay, so this is Platinum League TvP mech build. So right off the start, guys, we're going to see a huge mistake, which is no orbital command center. Ooh, this one's really big, guys. Really, really big. No orbital command center. That's massive and really, really bad. Not only that, but we're also seeing an engineering bay, a widow mine, and a missile turret all on one base with 0 scouting. So this is all insanely safe play. Way too safe, way too afraid. Clearly you've been cheesed a few times, and what you've done is you've changed your build order and made it way too safe to compensate. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how you can change this build order to make yourself safe. Now, all you need to do is go gas first. That's all. You've done it. You've gone gas first. You've done a pretty tight opening. So all you needed to do was stick with it, man. All you needed to do was just build a factory and get out a Cyclone and you would be safe. You know what's an even easier thing, which I recommend to all players who are Diamond or below? SCV Scout. About the same time your barracks goes down, grab an SCV, maybe slightly after that, but usually about the time, send it across the map and see what's up. In this case, you would have seen, oh, he's on one base, but he's got 2 pylons in the main base, which means he's not doing a very fast proxy. This is something you guys can always scout for against Protoss, by the way, guys. How many pylons do they have in their base? If they're missing a pylon, they might be holding. And 2 gateways says, he's probably just going to build some basic units. That's fine. He could still get some pretty fast tech behind this. That's okay. And what could you do then with that SCV? Now, I personally am a big fan of just hiding the SCV behind your opponent's natural. And you come in at about 3 minutes 30, and you say, have you expanded? And if they haven't expanded, you can start to like really go, oh shit, it's a 1 base all in. But otherwise, if you want, you can hide it behind the 3rd or the 4th. You just want to have that guy. And you can just check if they've expanded. You see, he's actually done a pretty normal build here. This is pretty straightforward. Yeah, he got 2 gateways and double gas, but he's not actually teching, he's just expanding. He's just doing a little bit of a less efficient expansion. So that would have been great. In this case, what you're doing is you're building 4 different things to solve one problem. And this is a really common issue amongst players, especially when they get tilted in a matchup. So this isn't just a Terran problem, this isn't just a Granis problem, who's in chat, by the way, so thank you very much for hanging out and watching your replay. But what does the Widow Mine protect against, guys? Oracle. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but Oracles take 3 shots to kill SCVs and Marines now. Not 2. They got nerfed, which means they kind of suck and no one's building them right now. Okay, does that mean we can just assume no one's going to build Oracles? Oh, no, they're still a pretty good unit. Okay, fair enough. So you might want to get the Widow Mine still to defend it. But wait a second. You're building a missile turret. So why do we have 2 things which achieve the same goal? There's no reason. Just get one. Just get the missile turret or just get the Widow Mine. Now, an engineering bay and a missile turret is a huge expenditure. If you scouted, saw he wasn't teching that fast, you wouldn't need this. Why? Because you're building Cyclones anyway. Cyclones are great anti-air, they're great anti-ground, they're like your one-size-fits-all defense. So you actually could have just gone a Widow Mine into the Cyclones, or hell, you could have even just gone straight into the Cyclones. So, number 1, I want you to start scouting every game. Number 2, you're doing a 1-base build. This is really, really like you need to do a bunch of damage. So if you're going to do this sort of play, you need to rally your Cyclones straight across the map and try to do big damage on your opponent. You cannot just camp at home. So don't build all this defensive crap, just get rid of it. Only build it reactively when you need it. If you feel nervous, just have a single Widow Mine in the mineral line, and that's all. That's all, okay? Other than that, get across the map and do damage if you're going to do this build, or do a normal expand build. Doing a 1-base build like this means you need to do massive damage just to equalize the economy. All I'm seeing in this game is a psychological story, guys. It's a story of trauma. I basically feel like I'm the guy in the courtroom right now and I'm going, Granis, where did the Protoss touch you? Can you show me on this doll where the Protoss touched you? And Granis is sitting there, he's kind of looking at the floor a little bit and he's going, they touched me everywhere. And now I literally see Protoss on the loading screen and I start crying, I start shaking a little bit, I have like I have flashbacks. The whole thing is a bloody nightmare. And I can see it. Why? Why can I see this? Because he's gone one base. He's got 3 different things to defend cyclones. And he's scouted everywhere for proxies. Before only at 5 minutes going across the map to have a little poke against his opponent. And his opponent's gone full eco. Has had plenty of time to defend. These cyclones could have been here a minute and a half earlier when there was just 2 adepts and no shield battery. And then, I tell you what, your opponent probably would have shat his pants and died. Back at home, we've got 1,000 minerals. And this is always going to happen when you're a little bit panicked. You're just not going to macro that well behind it. So the biggest thing for you to get rid of is to think about this. And this is something all you guys can identify, because I have this happen as well. You know what this happens with me lately? Is Phoenix in PvP. If I play a Protoss versus Protoss and my opponent goes Phoenix and I've got Phoenix, I have PTSD. It's like, it's just, I hate it. It makes me uncomfortable. I feel like crap. I start panicking and freaking out over everything. But what I've realized is, wait a second, once you identify that you're reacting with emotion and trauma, you've been traumatized by something, rather than reacting with your logic and you're actually looking at what's happening in the game, as soon as you recognize that, you need to go back to basics. You need to get a good build order, whether you can go to Spawning Tool or you can copy it off a pro's stream or you can invent your own one. But you've got to be logical about it and say, wait a second, let's only react to what's happening in the game. And you might feel a little bit nervous at first thing, but what if he does oracles? What if he goes DTs? What if he goes this? Don't let the what if question tilt you, all right? Don't do that shit. Just do some scouting. And if you die some games because a DT shrine hits you, that's fine. But the biggest problem that happens with players who've been traumatized is the moment they then die to something, they go, oh shit, you see, I need to change my whole build. But if they calmly go back and look at the replay, they say, you know what could solve this? If every game I drop a scan at 3 minutes 30, I will usually see their tech, and 90% of the time, I will be able to build missile turrets or get my defense ready in time. And it's that simple. It's this beautiful little simple thing where you can just say to yourself, you know what? That's it. I've made one little adjustment to my build, and that is all you need to do, guys. One adjustment to your build whenever you're traumatized in a matchup, and whenever you lose to something, don't change your whole build. Don't start trying to build layers and layers of defense to deal with the one thing. And this is not a Granis problem. I'm not trying to pile on you, Granis. You're a badass for sending in this replay and realizing already that this is your weakest matchup, right? This is the matchup you have problems with. So I think you're going to be way more confident if you can just do a better, more straightforward build order and not end up, 30, 40 supply, way behind on economy. At this point in the game, with almost no interaction happening, you're dead because you're handicapping yourself. What you've got to remember is each time you try to defend something in StarCraft, you're committing something. If they're not going for that thing that you're defending, you're hamstringing yourself. So what we've done this game is we've built so many layers of defense, we've sliced our leg, we're bleeding on the ground, and our opponent's just been building economy. He's been sharpening his swords, he's been working out in the gym, he's doing 50 pull-ups at a time, and you're staggering into battle with your little screwdriver, and he's pulling out these 2 swords off his back, and he's like, you ready to fight? And you're just like, well, I have a screwdriver and a limp, and that's basically all I've got. So this is not LRG or Granis being bad. This is him just being a little bit traumatized and doing a very inefficient build order. And this should be the most reassuring thing. If you guys ever find yourself doing this, say, you know what? Let's not be so panicked and afraid of what could happen in the game. Let's just be more confident. Let's expand fast. Let's take a natural. We can go for Cyclones and Hellions. I'm no master of mech, so I'm not going to tell you how to play mech Terran versus Protoss. I only play mech against Zerg. But yeah, you can make this build way more efficient. So I reckon go for a fast expand, do really fast Cyclone pressure, and do an SCV scout, and it will totally revolutionize your Terran versus Protoss. I'm not even going to watch the end of that game, guys, because he's so far behind already at that point. So far behind. So guys, we're going to hop into some games against people here. Now, we've done some analyses. We're going to go back to more analyses in a little bit, but for now, we're going to try and play some more games. I haven't played a game